Miss Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead with a tea break. I have some amazing news, and if I don't seem overwhelmed or excited with the amazing news, I'm medicated. And also, I'm sick. I got a touch of food poisoning, I think. Because if it was the stomach flu, it would last longer than 24 hours. And anyway, before I get into all that and my hair and all that, you guys need to hear something. I'm here to tell you that the power of prayer works, because God, you guys must have been really keeping us in your prayers, because we got a letter in the mail on Friday. Yes, folks, Our Half Acre Homestead is soon to be Our Half Acre Homestead Plus. We have been approved for the new half acre land acquisition. Now, like I said, if I'm not like jumping up and down and freaking out, it's because I'm medicated and let me get to that in a minute. If you remember, now for all you folks who don't know what's been going on for the since the summer, for all you new folks, Papa and I live on a half acre, actually it's 0.49 acres, and it is surrounded by our neighbor's land on 3 sides, and then the 4th side is the road. And it's all zoned agricultural. And we here in Quebec cannot sever agricultural land without massive good cause and a lot of paperwork to point out why it should be done. And we talked to our neighbor back in the spring when we were boiling our sap, and he said, sure, if you want to, because our land, our lot, part of our driveway is on his land, part of our septic bed is on his land, my apple trees, 2 of my apple trees are on his land, because it was improperly surveyed, and then when it was surveyed, it was surveyed, I don't know how they did it, but somebody was drunk, or they just didn't really care. I don't know, but so we wanted to square up our property, bring it to a full acre so that our septic bed and everything else is on our own property. But the problem is, here in Quebec, like I said, you can't sever agricultural land without good reason. So we had to go to the township. We had to do all this measuring, picture taking, lay out a whole thing as to why we wanted to do it. And yes, our neighbor was, approved and all this stuff. And it took a lot. So then once it went to town council, then it had to go to the CPTAQ, which is a bunch of initials that represent a bunch of French words that mean the Quebec government for the protection of agricultural land. And they told us 4 to 6 months once it went. They told us it would be 4 to 6 months before we heard. So when I phoned a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, mid-November, it had been 4.5 months. So I phoned them and they said, oh no, you're not going to hear anything. Call us back in January, because we're not going to have a decision before then. So I told you guys that, and I was, kind of bummed out, but you guys, you're going to get it, you're in our prayers, all that stuff, but I'm telling you guys, you really are a part of this. This has been so, so important, and we've got the go-ahead. And the best part is, all that snow we got blindsided by a bunch of snow. It rained for 3 days here this week, and it's all gone. So we phoned, because for those of you who don't know, we are in a holler, which is like a ravine, right? And our house is kind of built into it. And let's put it this way, our septic bed had to be built up from the ravine to make it go in, to make it fit. So I couldn't say anything. We heard on Friday. I couldn't say anything until now, because we wanted to make sure we got a hold of our neighbor to see if, because the last thing would be if he changed his mind at the last minute, and he didn't. So now I'm free to say, yes, we're going to be our half-acre homestead plus, because I don't want to change the title to our 1 acre homestead. So it's going to be our half-acre homestead plus. And you all were right. So many of you wrote to me and emailed me and saying, you know what, Bev? Don't stress. Everything's going to happen in God's time, but it is going to happen. You just got to let it go and trust. And you know what? You all were right. And thank you. It's really hard to let God drive the bus sometimes without me taking over the wheel. So, with the snow all gone, we phoned the surveyor, and the surveyor said, yeah, we're busy, but yeah, we'll get it done before Christmas. We'll get it surveyed. So once the survey's done, it all goes to the notary, and she handles the exchange of money and all that stuff. And Bob's your uncle. We will be a 1 acre homestead. And that may not seem like a lot to most people, okay? But if you think about it, on this half acre, we've got a barn, a paddock, a chicken coop, a septic bed, a swimming pool, apple trees, a driveway, a parking area, and a barn. Have I missed anything? And we're still functioning on this half acre. But the problem would have been if anything ever happened where our neighbor had to sell his land or whatever the case may be, then we would be dealing with a whole set of boundary issues with a new person. So we wanted to square this up to make sure that everything was going to be okay. And it's happening, folks. It's happening. And a lot faster than we expected it to. So, Merry Christmas to us. And you're right. Going down to 3 videos a week is really important, because I forgot, folks. I was doing a video a day when I had 1 channel, but now I've got 3. Well, I have 4, but nobody watches my singing channel, and I don't want anyone to watch my singing channel. But I mean, I have 3 channels, so if I do 3 videos a week on this channel and 3 videos a week on my reading channel, because I'm only doing 2 right now. This week I only did 1, and 1 video a week on my Cooking with Cannabis channel, then I'm still doing 7 videos a week. But it's spread out over 3 channels, which, you know, I can keep up the 5 to 7 videos a week. I just can't do 5 to 7 videos a week on this station. You get the picture. You get the picture. So, fingers crossed, folks. We cannot rejoice too soon because it is not finalized, but everything looks really, really good. Really, really good. That in the spring, there's going to be a whole new set of How Does It videos and stuff, because we have plans. We have plans. So, my hair, everybody was complimenting me on how good it looked, but the problem is I'm not young anymore, and my hair is no longer the big, thick ponytail I used to have. I used to have really, really thick hair, and as it was growing out, it was getting, I don't like to wash my hair every day, so it was getting kind of fine and limp and weird looking, and then I thought, oh, if I dye it, it's going to get worse because my hair doesn't like the hair dye. So this is going to grow out, and so is the color. But what I did was I went to Walmart and I got a haircut, and I just pointed to a man's picture, but I said kind of like that, only for me, right? And this is what I got, and believe it or not, folks, this looks really good. You should have seen what it looked like when I came home. Well, Howie said I looked like I'd just gotten released from maximum security women's prison. So, there you go. But, so I just, you know, this is as good as it gets. I dyed it again, but I dyed it in a light brown to kind of blend. And, because this was red over silver and it looked awful. But anyway, and for all those folks who, you know, I am chemically sensitive, and every once in a while when I dye my hair, I get people ribbing me about my chemical sensitivities. I'm going to tell you. I use a hair dye called, most of the time, and when I do dye my hair, I use a kind called Olea, and it's low ammonia or no ammonia or something like that. The only real problem I have with hair care products reacting with me is shampoos. And a lot of times, believe it or not, dish soap, the liquid dish soap, is a better shampoo for me than half the crap out on the market that burns my scalp. I cannot use Fructis or Finesse. Those two things will make my scalp go gummy and itchy and raw and sore, and it will bleed. So I don't dye my hair often, but I mean, after the pink hair, I had to like gradually work this stuff out. So, and poor Briar and his friend Austin were with me while I was getting, shopping and getting my hair done at Walmart. And as I was paying the lady, Briar said, I could have cut your hair I could have cut your hair with a whippersnipper, as a joke. And I said, it probably would have looked the same. And he's like, Mom! And I said, Briar, I got like 6 million cowlicks, and it doesn't matter what people do, the haircut is never satisfactory. I've had one haircut in the last 5 years that I've been happy with. So it is what it is, and I just leave it as it is, and I wear a hat in public. So, anyway, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead Plus saying thank you so much for all your love and your support and your prayers. And I'm going to ask you to continue them until this deal is finalized. Because getting this extra half acre is the only thing that was stopping me from trying to find another place to live, because I just didn't like feeling encroached upon, on my driveway and my apple trees and stuff. And it's not really like that he was encroaching on us. It's just that it felt like if anything went wrong over there, we'd have a legal crap storm with fence lines and stuff later on. And when this deal clears, that's not going to be an issue. And we're going to have a full half acre of rocks and trees and ravine to see if we can use a half of it for the rest of our homesteading. So stay tuned. Spring is going to be amazing. And so is Christmas. Because if all goes well, Papa and I got a half acre for Christmas. All right? Sorry for the rambling update. I am medicated, and now I've got to go to bed because I can't eat fast food, folks. I really can't. Like I said, I took Briar Christmas shopping yesterday, and I had a chicken burger from Tim Hortons. And I'm okay with the potatoes from Tim Hortons, like the hash browns or the wedge fries. I'm okay with those. And tea. Anything else out of that place, it really makes me sick. But still, I was out. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten all day, so I got a chicken burger. And every time I tried to bite it, the chicken would squirt out between the sourdough buns. There's a sourdough bun, so I had Briar throw the bun away to the raccoons, and I just ate the chicken patty. And then today, we were out buying lumber and stuff to finish the walls in the shed part of the barn. And again, we were out and about, and I hadn't eaten, so I got some chicken nuggets from Mickey D's. I'm really sick. I'm really sick. In the last 24 hours, I've eaten fast food twice. Supposedly healthy fast food. And I'm just really sick. So I'm going to go to bed. It's 8:15 in the evening, and I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to hope that tomorrow is a better day. But you know what? Amazing. Amazing. All right. Thank you so much. You guys are just such an integral part of our life that the first thing I did or wanted to do when we got the mail, and I read it, like Howie said, it's a go. I was rushing into my office to make a video like this, and Howie said, no. You wait until we know that, our neighbor still wants to do this, and just hang on. Just give it a day or two, honey, until we can get a hold of our neighbor. So we did today. He's happy. We're happy. We're excited. All right? Take care. God bless. I love you guys so much.